But I tell you now, I've got to be honest with you. I don't advocate for anybody to get the sack. I've been a manager myself, so I don't like to advocate for any manager to get the sack. But there has to be questions about Amorim. They're worse than under Ten Hag. You think? They've got to be. They're much worse. Statistically, it's been proven. I mean, like I've said, they've 10 games won, 8 games they've drawn, and now lost 14 games in the season. Not won back-to-back games. I don't care that there's work to be done at the football club. We all know that. But there has to be, like we've seen with West Ham today, there has to be signs of improvement. It's the same players who were there before Potter was there that we've seen put on a terrific performance at Liverpool. So it's down to the manager and the coach. And if you haven't got the players to play the system that you want yet, then you've got to get the players to play within a system with the players that you've got to get results. That performance is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. You know, I know they played in midweek, but I'm not up for this. Well, we've played midweek and we've this, that, and that. They're not playing 50 games a season, so I'm not up for that. You should be able to play 2 games in a week. You're getting paid a lot of money. I'm looking at Fernandes there. He's supposed to be the captain. He's supposed to be a leader. I mean, Roy Keane must be looking at that and thinking, and Brian Robson and Paul Ince and people like that, and going, how's he got the armband? You know, and then you've got Onana now, who's probably sat at home now with a big cigar, thinking to himself, well, you've dropped me. It's not, you know, I'm not just the blame, you know, and I'm kind of been the one that's been taken out of the focal point, but I'm not to blame. It's not right at the football club. There is so many things wrong, and for the manager has to have a look at himself, at what he's doing. Has there not been any sort of improvements at all? And not look at, let's just put today's game aside, because some fans will say this is a bit of a dead rubber game, really. There's nothing much left in the league to play for. You want to keep your players for the second leg in the Europa League. Have there not been at least some sort of clicking or patterns of play that you can see coming out of Amorim's system, Gary? Because there is argument that actually he's probably preparing for next season more because he only knows a certain way of playing and he hasn't got the players for it at the moment. I think it's a short answer for me. No. No, I can't see what he is trying to achieve on a game-by-game basis. And, you know, and football isn't about a steady progression as you build a club and a team. You know, you have highs and lows and dips and peaks and troughs. But no, I haven't. I can't see how the team looks any better than when he's joined, and I can't see that the results are any better because, well, they're not, are they? Well, they just signed Amorim, so there's no way that they're going to change the manager again in the summer. They've stuck with him. They want to get the players for him and maybe look ahead to next season. But at the end of that game earlier, you were shaking your head and you were just waiting for it to be over for United. Really, you were like, OK, let's just be done with this nightmare. It was such a poor second half and just individual errors again. You know, you can do all the teamwork you like, but when people are slipping and the goalkeepers, you know, passing it to their centre forward for goals, there's not a lot you can do. No, it's messy. I think we heard in commentary there that last week was the first time that Amorim had picked the same team twice in a row. So he's messing around with the team every week, and it's hard to get consistency that way. But maybe this is just because they do have that second leg against Lyon. Yeah, I understand that, and 5 changes. You know, you've got people like Maguire out and Dorgu, who I'm not too sure about myself at the moment. I'm not sure. You've now got Xerxes, who's injured, so he's out. Fernandes was non-existent. I thought he'd give the ball away cheaply and didn't really get involved in the game. So it's just, you're going to have this though. This is the transition. It's going to be messy. It's going to be horrible. And I think he's got to do better, Sharpe. I know he didn't. As a Man United squad, they've got to do better. But when your players are not good enough, you know what do you do? But they can't score goals. But I don't think they're as bad as what they're showing. And I know it's a difficult one because Amorim will say, in the end, I mean, obviously they're not going to get rid of him just now, but Amorim will say, I didn't want to come at this point in time. He didn't want to come. He knew there was a lot of work to do. He wanted to come at the end of the season. His opportunity or his only chance to go to Manchester United was to come now. But what I'm saying is, we've seen what he's done at his previous club. So he's obviously a very, very good coach, right? But you haven't got the players to play the way you want to play. So what you've got to do, obviously, is looking towards next season, right? You've got a chance of maybe winning a European competition. So what system can I play to win that competition, to get me through to the end of the season, where I can give a bit of confidence to the supporters, a bit of confidence to the good players that I've got at the football club, and then try and bring 3 or 4 players in the summer and 3 or 4 players out, and then maybe it'll look different next season.
I think if you just look at the win ratio he's had in the Premier League, it's below 30%.